Thank you so much, Mr. Magume, for that interesting but insightful speech. Where I come from, we say if something has been done so well, you don't take time to dilute it. So I'll join my distinguished previous speakers and stand on the protocols observed by the board chair and use that as well. Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Today, good afternoon. I bring you very, very warm greetings from the National Director, World Vision Uganda, Mr. Jeremiah Nyaga, who was not able to make it today due to conflicting priorities. However, he made sure that I'm here alongside my colleagues from World Vision, who can please stand up and wave. Yes. Yes, thank you. As a symbol of our value for the partnership that we hold with UFAS and AFAS, the Ministry of Agriculture, and every other player along the value chain that has made it here today. So please allow me to deliver the remarks on his behalf. And as I do that, I've been previously introduced, but I can do that again. My name is Connie, Nankya, and I'm the Communications, Marketing, and Advocacy Director at World Vision Uganda. It's both a privilege and profound honor to stand before this distinguished gathering as we conclude the Uganda National Agricultural Extension Week for 2026. Yes, first of all, I'd like to appreciate the organizers, and those include Uganda Forum for Agricultural Advisory Services, UFAS, the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, and of course, the Africa Forum for Agriculture Advisory Services, among other players and stakeholders. I've been humbled to sit on a table with 3/4 of powerful ladies, and it's been a humbling moment for me. Yeah, you don't get that every other day. So for me, it's been an honor, and thank you so much for bringing together this whole fraternity of key players as we enable to advance what we stand for. This week has been rich with insights, discussions, as alluded to here in the previous presentations, speeches, which have been all encompassing. And all these are proof of a renewed sense of collective purpose. I always say that as a country, we are blessed to have a very rich agricultural sector. And for most of us, we know that even as we grew up, our mothers, were championing that forum and that element. So it's good to see a balance of both, ladies and gentlemen as we try to forge the way forward and ensure that we do not lose out on the key elements that can actually make us a greater country. And the theme, which is unlocking Uganda's agricultural potential, multi-actor agriculture extension and advisory services for resilient, digital and market-oriented food systems, could not be more timely or more relevant to the realities we navigate every day. One of the elements I've appreciated is the incorporation of AI and the digital, element, because most times we think it belongs to another world. But to see that we bring that and put it at the forefront, introduce systems, introduce platforms, and ensure that, okay, we don't only look at, what else, but how else can we unlock the potential. So as we have deliberated over the past days, one message comes through with unmistaken clarity. And that is that the future of Uganda's agricultural sector depends not only on any single actor, but on the power of collective action. And we have seen that even coming through right from the, from the board chair, from the CEO, from the ED, from the previous, president, from the key players, like the Ministry of Agriculture and other players, that indeed collective action is quite pertinent. But above all, it's also good to see the youth, standing up to join this forum. And one thing that has really caught my attention is the 3 ladies who stood out to request for mentorship. I think that's a way to go. And it's also, an amazing element that when you're in a room of so much potential, how do you reach out and tap on the resources that have been extended by the respective players? So I think for me, that is a sign for us all that it actually starts from the grassroots. It starts from home, it grows through, and a great appreciation to you ladies. The future indeed is bright for you, but also an appreciation to the organizers and ensuring that they bring everybody, along this value chain to play this part. So let's give a round of applause once again to our organizers and partners. Of course, we have heard of compelling evidence for why agricultural extension and advisory services must become more adaptive. And of course, this is rooted in the realities along policy recommendations emerging from deliberations that carry real potential to reshape how extension services are structured, coordinated, related, and delivered in Uganda. At World Vision, we are not merely an onlooker or a player, but we are so passionate about how we unlock potential, how we create transformation, and how we partner with the able-bodied entities. And we are deeply invested in outcomes with operational presence spanning across 54 districts in Uganda. And of course, in our previous strategic period alone, that is between the period of 2020 to 2026, our livelihoods and economic empowerment program reached over 4 million people. And that's a sign of how intentional we are, how invested we are. And so when the board chair said, thank you, and when the board chair said we will go back and look into what we're doing, yes, indeed, because already if we've impacted 4 million people, then how else can we, better that? So please be comforted that we'll indeed try to, look at that, because it's not a statistic that we recite lightly, but it also represents the families we've impacted, the livelihoods we've impacted, and the future that we want to see. We have also trained over 50,088 farmers in improved sustainable climate smart agriculture techniques. Of course, as climate shocks continue to threaten, food security, equipping farmers with adaptive practices is not optional, but it's essential. And I know it's one of the things that we have looked at and attributed to during this week, like how do we, drive that? And consistent with this week's emphasis on market-oriented food systems, over 200,000 farmers received training in market and business skills. And of those, over 119 and 92 were actively linked to markets and business development services. We've talked about digital adoption. That is not something we've left out. And, at World Vision, we have tried to ensure that, during our previous strategic period, 4,013 saving groups were digitized. And of that number, 2,986 were linked to access to microcredit services. And today, in one of the feedback that was being given, there was the opportunity to include, financial services. And I know I saw the CEO nodding to that. It's something that, yeah, she really, really too appreciates and values, because, at the end of the day, they need to plug in, they need to see the value, they need to create products that actually speak and allude to the need of everybody across, this channel. And this evidence is clear that multi-actor agriculture extension works. But of course, evidence alone is not enough. We need to have the right policies, we need to have the right frameworks, we need to institutionalize and coordinate and ensure that resources approach everywhere that they need to be. So for that, we urge the Ministry of Agriculture, the Uganda Forum for Agricultural Advisory Services, the Africa Forum for Agricultural Advisory Services, all stakeholders to translate all the recommendations that have been incorporated in this week's engagements and ensure that we avail our potential and prosperity in a manner that is of quality and inclusive of everybody across this chain. So at this point, I would like to express our sincere gratitude to the respective stakeholders, specifically those that I have alluded to, the speakers, those who have featured in the panels, those who have engaged as well today, end to end. It's been very, very pertinent. And in a special way, of course, we'd like to recognize every farmer group leader, the district product officers, the volunteers, the agriculture extension practitioners, and all those that have ensured that their voice remain at the center of every policy engagement, every framework thought, every interaction, every light and moment of insight, because at the end of the day, you are the reason that we are all here, and you are the reason that we're putting a lot of energy and emphasis into this. Without you, we would not be here, or would not even be here to achieve whatever we're achieving. So a round of applause again to everybody. Okay, and a pat on the back for a job well done. As I conclude, I would like to allude to our commitment as World Vision Uganda in working alongside Uganda's farming community as an implementer, an advocate, and as a partner in building the resilient digital and market-oriented food systems that this nation deserves. With that, on behalf of World Vision Uganda, specifically the National Director and the team who's not here, I would like to officially wish you a blessed lunch. I hope we'll pray for that before as we close and wind up this week of impact, of insight, of great recommendations, but also one that touches the future ahead. And it is my prayer that we have all mapped out, the way forward. And as we go back, we are carrying a rich basket of information, of knowledge, and of renewed energy to ensure that we see and create the country that we want to belong to and enjoy. May God bless you all. For God and my country, thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you so much for listening to us. Thank you so much for participating, and may God be the anchor of where we're headed. Thank you so much. God bless you.